Hey, what is going on, everybody? Now, in today's video, we are going to be going over who I plan to take into Dark Dimension 4, which hopefully will be within a month if all things go well, XP-wise. I've been meaning to do this video for a while, but just haven't had a lot of time to put into this, and now I've somehow managed to find that time. I also want to say that a lot of this will be in my spreadsheet format, as I've calculated everything I need for the characters that I plan to take to Gear Tier 15, with a few extra characters that are under consideration. And these characters are by no means the only characters you can take, just the ones that I've decided to do because of their suitability for the mode and well-roundedness in other game modes. Don't really want to level up characters for Dark Dimension that are just for Dark Dimension, with the exception of Ghosts, because she's really good and she's a Dark Dimension specific character. Anyways, so if you're looking for the perfect speedrunning team, this probably isn't going to be the video for you, but I'll be sharing nonetheless. So without further ado, let's get this show started. Alright guys, and so here we have my potentially confusing spreadsheet for my tier 15 characters that I'm going to be taking into Dark Dimension 4. Now before we get started, we're going to be going through this together here, and I'm going to try and explain what I mean by this spreadsheet here. So on the left hand column, we do have all of the characters that I'm potentially taking into Dark Dimension 4, and with the characters that are in sort of the green shade, if you can see it, these are the characters that I believe are to be potentially staple characters that you're going to need, at least at the bare minimum, to get through this. And so for global, I do have Emma Frost and Ghost, and I do have Dr. Doom shaded here in for the round 2, because once you clear for the first time, you're going to get 5-star 5 yellow to red Dr. Doom, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, but he isn't going to be around for the first round. So for that reason, I do have him included here. And on the top here, you can see all of the mini uniques that you need for each of the characters. I've actually included it manually, on top of all of the orange catalysts that you need: damage, health, focus, resistance, armor, and superior basic catalysts for each character to go from gear tier 14 to 15. Now, I'll make this spreadsheet available in the description below if you guys are interested in checking this out. You can also use this to manually input some of your own data into this. It does work very well. You just need to go onto msf.gg and find out the total amount of gear requirements from gear 14 to 15. You can find this on their website, and that's how I got this information here. And so not only does this do orange catalyst, but if you scroll across to the right here, it does show actually other gear as well. So this goes from, I have it all listed out, from tech to bio to mystic to mutant to skill that's at the very end. And all these are the different all these are the different origin gear pieces that you need. And I calculated how many total I need for the tentative characters that I'm going to be taking in to Dark Dimension 4. So starting at the left hand side, we have Emma Frost, Mr. Sinister, Strife, Ghost, and potentially Yellow Jacket. He's not going to be, I'm not too sure yet, but the characters I am for sure going to be taking in: Emma Frost, Sinister, Strife, Ghost, and possibly Baron Zemo as a 5th character. As we know that you only need 4 characters to actually go into each lane, so these are the ones that I'm considering at the moment, and that's only because, well, you know, these aren't the ones that most of the new players, the people who have been speedrunning Dark Dimension 4 have been using, but I do want to take characters in, like I said, that are kind of well-rounded, that are good elsewhere, and not just specifically Dark Dimension characters. So Emma Frost, really great character, really well-rounded, great in Alliance 4 defense, so she's probably going to be my first character alongside Ghost. So the first two really here is Emma Frost and Ghost. Ghost is probably going to be my first tech tier 14, tech tier 15 to take in my first 4, just to get in the first couple of nodes there. And then for my first mutant character, it's really a toss-up actually for me between Emma Frost and Phoenix. I think that Emma Frost might be better because of global being the 3 nodes after the first set, so I'm going to get 6 nodes for Emma Frost if I took her in early as my first mutant character choice. But as we go down here on the left hand side, I'll kind of mention who is going to be my first of those origin pieces. So for Cosmic, I have Hela, Minerva, Thanos, Cull Obsidian, and Proxima Midnight, with Hela and Minerva, I believe, being staple characters, but I think Thanos as well is going to be quite stapley as well. Not to mention that he doubles for Black Order, obviously, which is really important to your arena, and getting gear tier 15 on your arena characters are going to be really important. Obviously, Black Order is king of the castle, so getting your Black Order to level 80 and potentially gear tier 15 might help you, stabilize your arena position a bit better, even going into Dark Dimension 4. So this is something you're going to want to consider as well. So for this reason, I put this here, so Hela is actually really gear hungry. She requires 5 sets of mini uniques, and that's why, while I believe that she's really good and she's a really good staple, I think I'm actually going to go with Thanos first, and for the reason for this being is that I want to keep my position in Arena as much as I can, so I think having a gear tier 15 level 80 Thanos, I also have a 7 red Thanos, I think this is going to be better for me personally. He also only requires 3 sets of mini uniques for Mystic, so I think that does really well. However, Hela is a very strong consideration that I plan on doing probably after Thanos, I think, getting ready for that cosmic lane. Now, Minerva is another tech character. I believe that she's also going to be a strong staple for the cosmic lane. However, she's going to have to come after Ghost in terms of tech gear requirements. So Ghost is going to be my first tech character to level gear tier 15. I think Minerva will probably be my second. After that, I'm probably going to be taking actually Proxima Midnight before Cull Obsidian. However, Cull Obsidian is a strong contender for me for bio, because actually if you look, he is kind of the next character that could be considered for bio. I am not considering characters like Stature or anything like that for my bio characters. I'm not planning on really taking any bio characters into the global lane. I know that it might slow me down a little bit by not taking, by kind of mixing up my global lane, because I do have a lot of mutant characters. I have 3 mutant characters here, but I have been spamming a lot of mutant gear, picking that up in the War Store. We'll see how it goes when I do hit level 80 for that. So Proxima is a skill consideration here. She is the only, she's the second skill consideration after Baron Zemo. Again, I'm not sure if I'm going to take Baron Zemo or if I need it. I might just do 4 characters first, frankly. It depends on what I need to get through and get started into the global lane, whether or not I take him up or not. And then, of course, Proxima Midnight is someone that I'm heavily considering because A, she's part of the Black Order, and B, because she's a skill character. So that's something I'm considering here. So if we look at the tentative total for my global, by the way, so we have 4 here in the tech, and that's only including Ghost. I do have the requirements for Yellow Jacket and Doctor Doom here, so these are all the mini gear requirement, mini sets requirements for these characters. But my tentative total just with Ghost is 4, and then we have 4, 3, and 3 for Mutant. This is Emma Frost, Sinister, and Strife. How many total sets of mini uniques for mutants do you need? And then 3 if I take Baron Zemo for skill. Now, moving on to Cosmic here, so we do have 5 Mystic sets from Hela, 3 from Thanos, that makes a tentative of 8 total. Cull Obsidian, if I do take him, that's 4 sets for bio. Minerva is another 4 sets for tech, and then 4 for skill for Proxima Midnight, making a total of 4, 4, 8, 4. These are 5 characters, of course, though, and we don't necessarily need 5. You only need 4 to start the lane, so this might be a second run consideration, possibly. So at the very least, I'm going to have probably Thanos. I want to say Proxima Midnight. I kind of want all 5, but I don't think that that's going to happen. So these are just my options for right now. We'll really see how it pans out in terms of how much gear I have, but this is the considerations that I have. I haven't considered anyone else for the Cosmic Lane for my first run. You know, maybe after my first run I might just max out the rest of the Black Order, so Corvus Glaive might be in there somewhere, but whether or not I actually use them for that or not, I don't know, because you can't actually do the empowered Thanos in this, because you can't use Ebony Maw in this lane, so that's a problem there. And of course on the right hand side I do want to notice, or I want to point out here, how many SPCs, how many Callus, Orange Callus is going to be required. And at the very bottom, by the way, I do have a tentative total of all of the characters that I plan to take into Dark Dimension 4 and the total amount of gear requirements that you need for that, and it's a lot of Orange Catalyst. It's particularly superior basic Callus, but even across the board on all the other ones is a lot. So keep saving all of your Catalysts. Don't gear anyone up into the orange level, gear 13 or above, if you don't plan on taking them into either Dark Dimension 3 or Dark Dimension 4, because there's a lot of Catalyst requirements for characters into Dark Dimension 4, and I think it's going to be a really huge heavy crunch going into that. So if you're wanting to get prepped just like I am for that, then start saving your gear now. You should have maybe been saving months ago for this, but I haven't spent any real good amount of orange gear other than like Ghost to bring it up. So let's move on to the city. Of course, this is nothing new. This is very similar to what mine's going to look like for Dark Dimension 3. The reason being, sorry guys, just need to take a quick drink. The reason being for that is that I just want to maximize my benefits for this. So obviously, if you guys run Dark Dimension 3 City, you'll know that you could have got by with basically Symbiote, Spider-Man, Carnage, and Venom. You can clear Dark Dimension 3 City with Symbiote, Spider-Man, and Carnage. I have seen some other people who are currently running Dark Dimension 4 City that are running characters with Anti-Venom first, but frankly, by the time I do this, I think and I want to point out that Scream only requires 2 sets of mini uniques, so I think at the very least, I'm going to be starting with Symbiote Spider-Man. I might do Scream because she's only 2, and then between Carnage and Anti-Venom, you know, I'll see. I have a lot of Alien Spores, actually. I have at least 75 Alien Spores right now, so I think I'm doing quite well. I think it's just the Bio Mini Uniques that are going to hurt me. So depending on whether or not I take Call Obsidian up in the Cosmic Lane will probably determine how many characters I'll have ready for the City Lane. But I do want to make sure that, you know, by the way, that I also use Symbiotes for my raid team. And again, I do like using characters that are going to double outside of Dark Dimension. I'm not running this solely for Dark Dimension. I'm running this... I am running it for Dark Dimension, but I want to make sure that I'm making use of these characters elsewhere as well. So the symbiotes are very strong contenders. Obviously, there's other characters you could consider if you're kind of one of those speedrunner types, you know, characters like Vulture, Punisher, you could add in there, you know, as well. Some of those warm bodies, if you just need to get a couple of extra characters to get in there as your 4 that you need to start. But really, I want to make sure that my team is good. You know, I don't want to regret the characters that I put gear into, because getting someone to gear tier 15 is a pretty big ask. You know, you're going to have to put in a lot of gear to get them up that high, and I don't want to regret the choices that I've made that I've previously regretted when it comes to Dark Dimension 3, specifically Scientist Supreme. And I think there's maybe 1 or 2 other characters that I kind of regretted taking up to tier 14 because they didn't really make much use in Dark Dimension 3, and I don't want to make the same mistake twice for Dark Dimension 4. So I want to make sure that all the characters that I take in are good and characters that I'm going to actually make use of outside of Dark Dimension as well. So these are some of the characters here, and of course, moving on to the legendary, this is of no surprise. Phoenix, Ebony Maw. Now this is where it gets a bit murky here, I'm not sure. Black Bolt, Doc Ock, and Shuri. These are the 5 characters that I'm obviously considering, not necessarily in these 3 orders, but definitely Phoenix and Ebony Maw first for the legendary lane. Now, I think I'm going to try and get Ebony Maw second. I know I said Hela second, but I think Ebony Maw, because of being used in my Black Order Arena team, again, I think Ebony Maw might be my second Mystic consideration after Thanos. The reason for this is I think that he'll work very well in the first 3 nodes. Unfortunately, I won't get to use him again as quickly until the Legendary Lane, which is at the end of Dark Dimension 4. But at least he'll already be leveled up. So, and then I have Black Bolt, Doc Ock, and Shuri. The reason why I have Doc Ock is he's quite a decent support character. He also gives you immunity to offense down because of his passive. Shuri just there as potential heal block, some more support. Black Bolt as that damage there. Now, whether or not I need Black Bolt or not, I don't know. He'll probably be a 5th consideration. I'll probably have to swap this around. This isn't exactly the order I'm doing it in, but I did want to make mention here about Phoenix and Ebony Maw, who are still going to be really strong characters for Dark Dimension, and I think you're going to need them now. In terms of, it's a bit more balanced here, I would say, for the gear, for the legendary requirements, because you had a mutant. Phoenix actually only takes 3 sets of mini uniques, 4 for Ebony Maw, 4 for Black Bolt, 3 for Doc Ock, and 4 for Shuri. So Doc Ock and Phoenix are actually relatively cheap in order to build. And that's why I wanted to point out Scream as well for the city, just to go back there. The ceiling requires 2. 3 is the average set of mini uniques that you need for that. And then 4 is getting a bit higher, and then 5, which is only really Hela and a few other characters like Ultron, who I'm also not taking, require 5 sets. There are some characters that require only 1 set of mini uniques or less, but those aren't the type of characters that I want to take personally into Dark Dimension 4. Now, so we get the subtotal. These, I have subtotals here for every lane, and obviously the heaviest one is City, which is 16 sets of bio, but otherwise it's fairly, there's a little bit of mutant here, quite a bit of mutant here on the global lane, but other than that, it's fairly balanced, I would say. And so my tentative subtotal at the very bottom, these are the amounts of sets of mini uniques that I'm going to need for each of the origins. 15 tech, 24 bio. This is probably of no surprise because the big bulk of this is actually from Dark Dimension City. 12 Mystic, 13 Mutant, and 7 Skill. Now, if I could, you know, I would try to work in more skill characters into my Dark Dimension 4, and obviously we don't know what characters might be coming down the line in terms of newer characters in, like, past this patch that we're currently in, possibly February and beyond, whether or not there'll be any new additional characters that might take Dark Dimension 4 considerations. For now, there isn't, you know, nothing in patch 5.0 are really characters that I'm going to be considering for Dark Dimension 4. So because I'm probably going to be entering within the next month or so, there isn't any other considerations other than that. So these are really the only main characters that I'm considering. I know that people for the global lane specifically, when we go up here, when we look up here for the global lane, that, you know, you've seen some people probably running it right now with like a Captain America Black Widow combination, things like that. But I personally don't feel that they're very great characters outside of what they do. I think this is very much a speed runny kind of set of characters. I'm sure they're really good, but I just don't see a lot of use for them outside of that Dark Dimension group. They're okay in the Wave 1 Avengers in Alliance War, but I really don't plan to use them that much. That's why I haven't included any of those characters in the global lane. So yeah, just wanted to point that out really quick. And I do have all of these tentative subtotals for Callus as well. I really want to point this out. So total, these are all the between 4 and 5 characters for each of the 4 lanes that I've decided to take, and these are the total amount of Callus that I'm going to need. So 4,590 damage Catalyst, 4,890 health catalyst, 5,070 focus catalyst, almost 4,000 resistance, 2,000 armor. Armor is actually not a big issue. A lot of people will have a lot of bonus ones because very few characters actually use armor catalyst in their unique piece, so it's actually quite easy to do this. And a grand total, a whopping total of 19,440 superior basic catalyst to get all the characters that I'm planning to get to gear tier 15. And actually that doesn't include Dr. Doom as well, and a few others. I think mostly Dr. Doom, and doesn't include Yellow Jacket if I decide to take him at all. So there's going to be a little bit higher than that for the second run, but this is really for the first run that I calculated and how much Callus I'm going to need for that, and that's a lot. And I do want to slide across, and I did actually have Ultron down here just in the event that I did decide to do it. The only reason why I don't think Ultron's going to be a good idea for Dark Dimension 4 is because when you do get Dr. Doom unlocked, we all know that Dr. Doom has Doom bots. So Ultron bots and Doom bots are going to clash on the field in terms of how many characters you can have, because there's a maximum of 10. So between the bots on both sides, I don't think it's a good idea. Not to mention he's super gear hungry at 5 tech mini uniques pieces, or sorry, sets. So I think that's probably gonna not be a great idea, or that's gonna clash and not allow you to get Minerva up if you want her for the Cosmic Lane, which comes after Global. So yeah, I'm not really planning to do him yet. But moving along here, so I do have all of the other pieces. If you guys see, so the way I set this spreadsheet up, you can see all of the other pieces as well. So these are the names of all of the origin pieces. So there's 3 for each of them. Unstable molecules, laser torch, charge particles, these are tech, and then of course we have bio, and then we have mystic, and then mutant, and skill going across the top. So 970 unstable molecules. This is my tech pieces. Now it gets even worse here when you look at bio. 1,690 of those superior isomers. Those are, I forget what they look like exactly. You guys probably know what the photos look like, but this is a lot of pieces. I don't even think I have that many, and so this kind of gives me a good idea looking at my own inventory to see how many orange pieces I need for each of these origin gear pieces, which is quite a lot. 970 unstable molecules is a lot, but 1,690 isomers, that's for all 5 symbiotes. Don't necessarily need that, so it's going to be at least in the 1,000 range, or the low thousands. 700 arcane powder, 870 splice genes for mutants, 500 secret intel, that's even less. So the way it works is obviously the first one, aka the unstable molecules, is going to be the most, and then about half as many laser torches, and then a little bit less on the charged particles. And you see how this kind of works all the way across. So the most is going to be this first item here, the isomers or the arcane powder, and then it's about half the amount for the others, and then a little bit less for the rest. And it goes that way all the way across. So keep that in mind, guys. If you're farming orange gear, opening orange gear orbs and things like that, how many of these items you're going to need for these characters, if you're considering any of these characters that I'm considering. Also, just to say really quickly here, I have listed their superior unique in the spreadsheet here. So unfortunately, Emma Frost and Sinister share Ballistic Weave, of course, and I think the only time that overlaps, Ghost and Black Bolt for quantum energy. If you do take Yellow Jacket, Gravitonium is overlapped with Proxima Midnight. Other than that, oh yeah, sorry, Miasma if you do Hela, as well, and Dr. Doom, and of course Alien Spores. So never stop buying Alien Spores, guys. You know, always buy superior Alien Spores. If you see it in your main supply store, just buy them because you're gonna need tons of those. Otherwise, it's not too bad for the overlap. I don't think there's any major ones here. Just make sure that you're keeping aware of this. Oh, it says Doc Ox Titanium and Strice Titanium. So make sure you're keeping an eye out on your superior unique stocks, and make sure you have enough considering going into either Dark Dimension 3 or Dark Dimension 4. Going from 14 to 15, gear tier 14 to 15, you're going to need another 25 of these per character that you need them for, so make sure that you have enough for this. And so that's really all I have to say about Dark Dimension 4 and the characters that I'm planning to bring up. Let me know if I missed anything or if you think I overlooked some characters that I should consider myself. Like I said, this isn't an exhaustive list of characters that you can take into Dark Dimension 4. These are just the plans that I have for myself to go into Dark Dimension 4. And like I said again, I'm going to have this available for you guys in the description below if you want to take a look at this spreadsheet, or if you want to kind of input some of your own data to consider for this with other characters, and you can cross-reference this with msf.gg, and hopefully that helps you in terms of determining how much gear that you need for your characters to go in from 14 to 15 to get ready for Dark Dimension 4 yourselves. I'm hoping to get ready within the next month, and I'm hoping that I'm going to start a new sort of series like I did for my Dark Dimension 3 playthrough, and get doing that for Dark Dimension 4 as well. So good luck, guys, and I hope that you guys get into Dark Dimension 4 like I do, and we can get started on this pain train together. So that's going to be the end of this video, and of course, if you like this video or if you found this informative, please smash that like button down below, and consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. And of course, until next time, guys, stay safe, and I'll see y'all later. Waylon signing out.